Happy Monday, everyone. Welcome along to another Monday Night Live. We do this every week, 6 p.m. Simon and I, James on the discs, answering all of your questions about the world of golf, anything club fitting, golf coaching, and generally good clothing, good attire.
I had a Herman who was in last week said, demure clothing, so I'll go on brighter trousers. Like the brighter trousers. There we go.
That's good on you. So we've gone down to the Australian side of life with the European DP World Tour.
Love seeing the courses down there.
Yeah, they're on a very special one this week. The Royal Melbourne. I've played that a good few times. That is spectacular. And it's so unfortunate that we only get the highlights, and it's obviously going on the other side of the world. But a fantastic golf course and a fantastic place to play golf. And we have a lot of people that watch our stream that are from Australia. So if you're tuning in this evening, let us know if you're in Melbourne, the vibe that's going on, because I would think it's pretty exciting. How's the winter shaping up for all things PG?
Good, yeah, been busy November. December's looking, for December, pretty busy, which is always nice. But we're just starting to get into seeing the remnants of the last few launches coming next year. And getting ready to do all the product previews ready for launch. So yeah.
And loads of content on the channel?
Yeah, and it's the product stuff's gonna ramp up first beginning of January. Once the embargo's lifted, we'll be chucking it out. There'll be tons of it. So
Brilliant.
There'll be product review comparisons and the like, and yeah.
So if you haven't done so, hit the notifications bell on your YouTube app so that when Precision Golf drop a video, you will get it straight to your phone and you'll not miss a trick. As usual, we have our questions. So if you've got anything that you'd like Simon to demo or me to explain, feel free. We will get that done for you. Get in nice and early, though. We like to keep it to a strict 1 hour. So at 7 p.m, the drawbridge comes down, and we all nip off down the Chinese. If we only did that. Ian Murgatroyd. Hi, chaps. Going to miss the live tonight, I'm afraid. Why? What have you got more important than this? If I raise the loft on my AI Smoke Max 3HL by 1 degree, how much does this close the face by? Cheers, and hopefully tune in next week.
It's roughly half a degree. So half, 3/4 of a degree. So it's a little less than the loft change. But yeah, so roughly, broadly speaking, half the loft change.
Papa Bear, Stu, when starting and through the backswing, when does wrist hinge start? Is it significant immediately or gradual? Please demo Chris H. Good question. So wrist hinge is a really, really interesting topic. I did a video on this on my channel, Good Golf Coaching. Wrist hinge and forearm rotation. I'm just going to isolate wrist hinge. And for most golfers, that's about as much as you get in a golf swing, which when you think about it is very, very little. What actually is more of a power source is forearm rotation. When you think about forearm rotation and how far the golf club moves in a golf swing compared to what that wrist hinge is doing, it's really not very much. So personally, Chris, you're one of my skillists. I wouldn't worry about it too much, but for detail, when you move the golf club away, the pressure down in the lead hand and the pull up with the right hand creates the set. So as soon as you start to lever that club head away in your backswing is when wrist hinge should start. So as long as there's a nice bit of leverage away and you don't see that club stay low to the ground and swing inside, you're doing the right thing. But we can talk more about that on our skill list next time. Hope that helps. Let's move on to David Herman, 450. Hello, David. Live on the Isle of Wight and minimal shaft testing facilities. When buying used equipment, how can we tell they aren't Team U copies that look exactly the same? What a good question that is.
Yeah, it's a really good one. I mean, there are some amazingly good copies. We actually saw a set in the studio last week. Some Titleists that were copies, and the only way we could, when you really look closely, we can tell, but it was the setup, the weighting of them was miles off. So yeah, normally it's only by checking the specs, swing weight, loft or lie. Sometimes the visuals, like some of the numbers in this instance, I'll grab this, the head had some numbers on the back of the hosel and the font wasn't right. It just but you only had to look really closely. So unfortunately, some of the copies are really good, and actually I've seen some fake wedges play really well, but they were just very light. But actually the data off them was absolutely fine. But then the consistency was off because they were 20 grams lighter. But yeah, it's really hard, and it's only by getting them, measure the specs, and by knowing kind of where they're meant to be, can you tell whether they're off or not?
I've got a silly little hobby. I race radio control cars, and there's this little component that's 75 pounds made out of aluminium. And a friend of mine bought it on Temu, same logoing, everything. He bought it for 30p. He showed me it, and I couldn't tell the difference.
Right.
I marked my one because I didn't want to get the 30p one. But he put it behind his back and he said, I'm going to show you one and you tell me. I couldn't tell the difference. It's unbelievable. I mean, some of the copies, I mean, it's been around for a while now, right?
Yeah. We see it with grips. We see a lot of grips, a lot of fake grips, multi-compounds, and the ribbing and the tread and we now know just by looking at it that they're fake. But as long as the weight is the same, they do work. Yeah, the problem is the tolerances and therefore your grip weights and the thickness of the rubber and the loft and lie and the irons. Yeah, can be very hard to tell.
Scary stuff, really, isn't it? Scary stuff.
I remember seeing a program about they were making fake eggs in China.
Fake what?
Fake eggs.
Making fake. Look, Barney's out cold.
Yeah.
Fake eggs.
Unbelievable. Fake eggs. Yeah.
Always
if you couldn't hear that was an awful pun by James.
No yoke. Let's move on quickly. Stephen Forge 89. Hi guys. Hi Stephen. Went from a tall velvet standard to a mid-size grip on my driver and now feels very heavy. How much would this change the swing weight? We get this a lot, don't we?
So if it's a tall velvet mid-size, then actually it's only about a 5 gram difference and you're looking at a 1 swing weight point difference. So not much. That's 1.5, 2 grams in the head. However, if you went to something like a multi-compound +4 mid-size, then you've gone from a 52 gram grip to a 66 gram grip, and that's a massive difference. So it depends which mid-size you've used. If it's the tall velvet, then it actually should only be 4 or 5 grams in the grip, and therefore just about a swing weight point overall.
So TrackMan has done a new update.
Yeah.
How do we switch that off?
Time's out quicker.
It does.
I think there's something in the settings.
Yeah, I've looked. I couldn't find it. It's not in there.
Have they taken that bit out?
I think they've taken that bit out. So
Right.
it always times out. Is anyone there? Which is rather frustrating.
Yes.
Anyway, if you know the answer to that question, please let us know, because I've looked everywhere and I can't see it.
Yeah, no, the bit where it normally is
it's gone, isn't it? Yeah. Good times.
There you
go. Chris H, follow up, gents. Please rate on a scale from bad to worse Stu's colloquial terms: garbage, nonsense, complete garbage, and absolute nonsense. Asking for a friend, Chris. If you don't know, I use those terms on my channel. Sorry.
So are we starting from average, poor, ridiculous?
Yeah. I mean, garbage is my usual. I use that. I mean, I think I quite like garbage. You like garbage?
I think if we're doing it on the bad to worse, I think it just ranks as poor.
Got it.
I don't think it's any more than poor.
Okay, so a complete garbage.
Disgraceful.
Okay, an absolute nonsense.
I mean that would be average, wouldn't it? So it's just bad.
Okay,
I think,
right, brilliant. Thanks. Perfect. Thanks for that, Chris. Throwing me under the bus. Appreciate that. I'll get you back. Simon Muggleton, 4688. One of two. Evening, guys. Simon, I play Mizuno 921 forged with KBS reg and had a go with a friend's T150 with a C-taper 110 stiff. And they went higher and further. My head is blown as I'm a slow speed player.
So, I mean, you don't have to be fast to need a tip balance shaft. And actually sometimes a lower speed player, sometimes actually having some mass in the shaft actually helps timing. Now the C-taper is at the 110.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a moderate weight shaft. It's not overly heavy, but the balance is down the bottom end. And if that versus the KBS Tour or Tour Light or whichever one it was, that's a higher balance point shaft. So if you time the lower balance shaft better, it takes you to the bottom of the ball, up goes the flight, and up goes your efficiency. So it's more about how you use the weight rather than how fast you swing.
That could be applied for many things in the world, couldn't it?
It's how you use it, not how big it is.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Andy Corso.
Descended early, hasn't it?
Oh no, I've jumped ahead there. Shannon Eva. Evening, lads. Evening, Shannon Eva. I have a Ventus Blue 6S in my driver, which I love. Glad to hear it. I also have a Tour AD DI6 that I'm considering putting into my 3 fairway wood. Do these shafts match feel-wise?
No. So if the Ventus Blue, well, the Ventus, whether it's the first generation or the second generation, is going to be a little bit more stable. So the DI is softer through the midsection, so you're going to have a softer, smooth, you can argue smoother feel, but a bit more kick from the shaft, especially if you put it in a 3-wood. My concern in a 3-wood would be if the Ventus Blue 6S works as the driver, then the 6S in the DI might be a bit light for the fairway wood. That would be my only concern with it. But actually, as a fairway shaft, the DI giving a bit more kick might be a better option. But it will feel softer, and in principle, it's going to kick a bit more and flight a little bit more than the Ventus.
Ivan R. Good evening, gents. Good morning, gents, should I say. Can you give a graphite iron shaft that is similar in feel to the KBS C Taper 130X?
Oof. The closest one's going to be the Axiom 125. So C-Taper 130 is a really stout, very tip stiff, tip balanced shaft. And it's 5 grams lighter, but the Axiom it's got the Velocore material in the tip, so very, very stable, really tight playing. You might need to add a little bit of balance, a little bit of weight to the club head to match the swing weight of where the C-Taper 130s would have been from a feel point of view, but from a structural stability, that will be more than a match for it.
Simon Muggleton, my driver speed is about 140 ball speed. Sorry, I was getting confused with double speed. Will it be the head or shaft that are working for me, or would it be the swing weight? Who normally does C-Taper 110 stiff iron shaft suit?
It's likely to be balance point. I mean, there isn't really. I don't conform to your X speed, therefore your X shaft. It doesn't work like that, because say you can have someone who has a lot of speed but doesn't need weight, and you have someone who doesn't have a lot of speed and needs the weight to time it. So it just doesn't work that way. But if you need weight in the bottom end of the shaft, that's where the C-Taper light's working for you versus the KBS Tour light. I mean, 140 driver speed's around a 92, 93 mile an hour. Is that right? 25, 140, yeah, about 94, 95 mile an hour driver speed. So you're roughly about low 80s in terms of club speed. So, certainly within the realms of, it's not a shaft that stands out as being kind of an odd selection for your kind of speed. But ultimately, look, if it swings well, and it times well, and it's working well, then it's suitable. And that's the most important thing.
Andy Corso, Blue Monday.
Yes, it is.
Mr. Titleist, thanks for last week's tips on stopping pulling my short irons left. Pleased to say it worked and I won the turkey voucher. Come on.
Look at that.
Get in, send me a leg or even a breast.
And happy Thanksgiving by the sounds of that.
Yeah, Mark Miller would love to know what your view is on the Smith Works wedges.
In terms of as a head, it's not something I've worked with, so I can't give you any kind of feedback on how they perform. So, seeing as I can't give an informed decision, a comment on it, then it's best that I don't.
Niall, hi guys. Hi Niall. I think it's actually pronounced Neil actually. Could you hit ping G440 LST versus the QI35 core model? Thank you.
Let me check. I'll make sure. Actually, we do have a core model here. I might have to just grab that.
Alrighty. While you answer goes off for that, I'm going to jump one ahead to Jerry's question. Love the show, guys. Thank you, Jerry. Stuart, during the downswing, should the left leg start pushing Should the left leg start pushing the left hip back just before impact or right at the moment of impact? It should start pushing the left hip back right at the start you continue your downswing. So as soon as you start pulling, that left leg wants to feel like it pushes that left hip back. So when you get yourself to the top of the backswing, what we know from pressure traces is that by the time a golfer starts pulling on the golf club at the top, there's already between 60 and 80% of the pressure into the lead foot, as opposed to what most golfers believe there should be, is weight and pressure on the right foot. There's weight and pressure on the right foot. As you pull the golf club, you are going to move sideways. And what that'll do is keep your back to the target for too long and make you swing too much from the inside. So when you get to the top of your backswing, you already need to feel like there's load in that lead leg to offset the pull you have with the golf club that will push the hip back. So as soon as you start pulling on the golf club, use that left leg, that left foot to push that left hip back so you can pivot around that lead leg and unload that golf club. I hope that helps. Find out more about that on my channel, Good Golf Coaching, for videos on leg action. That'll really help you. How are we doing with the golf club?
Right, it's got the, had to screw a weight in the back of it. So.
Shanova, I haven't forgotten you. I will be Shannon Eva, should I say. Let's ask, do you guys stock the UST Lin Q Power Core shafts, and could you hit them and compare them to the Ventus Blue?
So UST actually is a range we haven't carried for a while now. Yeah, it's one where they've been good shafts. Well, we used to carry UST, but actually at the moment it's not a line that we have.
Yep.
But the Lin Q is a good shaft, but there's only so much we can carry.
Sure.
So yeah, no, it is one that we haven't done for a few years now.
Yep. Fair dues, fair dues. Sorry, we can't do that comparison for you.
Righty-hoo. Right, so we've got the LST first. Right.
Has this ball stand moved? Or am I imagining it?
Is it what?
Has it moved? It hasn't moved, has it?
No, it hasn't moved.
No, it's the same place. I'm just standing in a different spot.
So that was a little bit necky. Let me do one more. That wasn't not a great strike. Trying to get away from being too over. She came and did some practice yesterday.
Oh. You came in and did some practice?
Second time this year, I think.
Oh, dearie me.
Right.
Must be ready for the turkey trot.
That was a solid hit. So LST is ahead. We have seen, that one came up with a good speed. We have seen almost not actually quite as fast as some of the others, but it's good for low launch. So that one's come out 11 launch, 2000, just another 2-1 on spin. It's been quite good for bringing launch angle down this year, and actually quite safe if you're a toe striker, doesn't knuckle spin off too much. But you know, quite strong. And the TaylorMade, historically the TaylorMade have been very good for ball speed. But if you go through the last few models with the composite face, a heel strike has been punished quite heavily. So the core model rather than the LS. So the footprint on the TaylorMade is noticeably a little bit bigger. Now some of it's the colour on it, the lighter crown, that makes it stand out a little bit more. And you can see the size of it a little bit more as well. Oh, got that a little bit low on the face. Is that one more? It's a little snipey. Right. There's a more solid hit. So a little bit more launch, but spin proportionally sits a little bit lower than the LST did. This has got the weight forward. So TaylorMade have always been very good for low spin. We found the core model of the 35 pretty good. Certainly weight forward seems to have been very good. I think my swing must have been a little bit quicker on that one, the one with the ping, but similar, just a hair more launch angle out of the core model QI35.
Out of all of the drivers on the market, what would be the lowest spinning head?
Lowest spin relative to launch angle. Certainly before this year would have been the Callaways, and get them a little bit toe side, then they fall off a cliff. This year, actually, the LS of the QI35 has been, when it's been good, has been pretty darn low spin. The Cobra has been very low spin as well.
And what would be the highest spinning driver?
I think it's none of them are that high spin now. I would say GT1 launch is high relative to loft, but I would say probably if you're looking to moderate spin, we're going a 440 max. Would be something if I'm looking to retain a bit of spin. That would be where I'd go with it. Yeah.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Let's find where we were. Daniel Winterbottom. Thank you for your help last week, Stuart. With reducing, oh, hang on. No, I've answered that, sorry. Daniel Winterbottom. Thank you for your help last week, Stuart. With reducing my path, but with your advice, I've also aligned the path and face. I've improved a lot. That's great to hear. Thanks for the feedback, Daniel, and happy golfing. Rogelio, 71. Guys, I've enjoyed watching Marco Penge over the last few weeks. Have you had the chance to analyse his swing, and can you see where his speed comes from? Great show, guys. Well, I mean, the guy's tall, very muscular, he's got long levers, and he's young. That'll do it.
Yeah.
That'll do it.
Got a waste about that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I think he's some of that. He's always been pretty long by all accounts, but now we see every youngster coming within reason coming through. Every sport he plays about speed and power, distance. So that side's almost more naturally there now than it ever used to be.
Everyone watches Rory hit it 330, and that's what everybody wants to do. You know, to coach young Christos, and all his, you know, at 15 years old, all he was interested in is getting more speed, which is, you know, and rightly so. That is not how it was when we were growing up. It was, you know, it was about, when you listen to Faldo talk, which was a huge influence on my life and most golfers' lives in the UK, it was all about finding fairways and just ticking it down the fairway. He prided himself on just hitting fairways. It's just not that way now, is it? It's how far can you hit it? You know, more wow factor in that and ball speed than there's ever been. So it's just the way the game has gone. You know, so discussions everywhere, isn't it, about whether that's good or bad? But it's just the way it is. Evolution, right? Evolution.
Every sport,
Yeah, sure. Moose Billy, just want to let you know, Stu, I had a 77 on my local pay and play. I think that meant 70, my best ever. Thanks. Grip swing really working. Super to hear. Well done stuff. Steve Durrington, legends. Wow. You know,
that's very kind.
Don't want to say too much. I've been having a lot of success with the takeaway you showed, keeping hands in, down with trail hand as club lifts, with all clubs except driver. Any advice? You just need to give it more time with the driver because the lever is longer. And when you lift the club head up with driver, it can make you feel like you're going to hit too much down. When you do that, just bump the ball further forwards in your stance so you give the club a bit more time to swing, because when you get that club head being propped up, as I say, it can give you a sensation that you're hitting more down on it. And that's why most people want to swing it inside with the driver, but give it a little bit more time and get that ball a little bit further forwards in your stance. That should help you out there, Steve. The TYB Yorkshire Blade, hi guys, great show, thank you. Does slight breaking of the elbow in the backswing cause a problem? Absolutely not. If you speak to Jeff Ogilvy, he won a major championship and did very well on the PGA Tour. If you want to make your arms longer, or you want to make your left arm, lead arm longer, you need to apply more force in your trail arm. That will be the cause of it, not your lead arm. Most golfers try and straighten their lead arm, but it's actually normally the right arm that pulls in and buckles up that causes it, because you haven't got enough mobility in your wrists to narrow the right arm and set the club whilst keeping your left arm straight. I hope that helps.
Tempo, Jeff Ogilvy, didn't
Yeah, amazing, wasn't he? It was amazing. Played with him many, many times. Fortunate enough to do so. Philly Central, hi all. I'm convinced a shorter driver would reap benefits being 5'8". Can swap the shaft in my 3-wood as a good experiment? ?
The principle of it, yes, but the head weight will create an issue. So lengthwise, it'll come out, let's say ½ inch longer, 3/4 inch longer than it would in your 3-wood. That we do a lot of builds at that kind of length, somewhere between 43.5 and 44. So absolutely shorter shaft length is something we do an awful lot here, but the head weights are about 15 grams different. So 10 to 15 grams. So you are going to, if you just swap the shaft in, you're going to have very little, if any, feel for the club head. So it does require more weight adding. Realistically, it's probably about 8 to 10 grams.
Ian Linfoot 2563. Impossible question. No question is impossible, Ian. Stuart gave a tip for losing head height on the downswing. Since then, my Stableford scores have been 40, 43 and 46. How can I keep this form going? You just need to shift your...
What are you going to say?
You just need to shift your comfort zone. So your comfort zone is based around your handicap. Now, at the moment, your average is 43 points. So therefore, you are playing, on average, 7 shots under your handicap. So whatever your handicap is, take 7 shots off when you go out and play to that. And at that point, when you stand on the tee thinking you've either got 2 shots or a shot on that hole, and you no longer have that shot, all of a sudden you'll have to make a par if you want to make 2 points. And all of a sudden you've changed your comfort zone on playing. 46 points is a fantastic score, but you're not 10 better or you're not 10 worse as a handicapper. You're now playing to 10 better. So change that. And you can lock in that good golf by changing your mindset and your comfort zone. So take 43 points, make that your average, take 7 shots off your handicap. When you're playing with your pals, when you're playing in club comps, write your scorecard out as though your handicap is 7 better. And then when you come off, then just adjust it and add the points back on. You can still write the scores down the same and just do the points in pencil. You've not done anything wrong, but when you come to add it up at the end, just add what your score would be. But if you keep doing that enough, you'll change your mindset of what your handicap is and your perspective and what your belief is on your own golf. Hopefully that helps you. Papa B, 43272. Hello, young men. That seems like a different handle. Have you changed your handle, Papa B? Anyway, Stuart, can you please demonstrate what it means to cover the ball in the swing? When I use the Google machine, I get different answers and opinions. Thank you, Obi-Wan. So covering the ball historically has meant like the chest is more on top of the golf ball. So covering the ball, right shoulder, more on top of the golf ball, which gives more shaft lean. And that is like taking the loft down of the golf club, which is the feeling of covering the golf ball. And the reason why people have felt that way or wanted to feel that way is because the advice and the trait that golfers have invariably had big leg drives, which has lent the spine back and has made the grip go low to high, which has then been doubled down on trying to swing from the inside. So everyone had big leg drives. Look at an old image of Brian Barnes or someone like that. Yeah. Big leg drives, sit back, club rising up. And then all of a sudden, people want to feel a wedge shot where they cover the ball. And the trouble is, and Simon will attest to this, that equipment now wants to knock the flight off the ball. Golfers, when you think about it, there's been a lag effect, right? I mean, kick back 20 years ago, everybody sliced the golf ball. Ridiculous amounts, didn't they? And they would have loads of spin. And then manufacturers have gone, oh no, we can sort this out, lads. We can take this loft down, we can change the weight in the head, we can reduce the spin rate and make everyone flight it. Now, when you then think about golf in general, that golfers have become less slicer because bowing of left wrists and all of this kind of stuff has made dynamic lofts reduce. Now, all of a sudden, if you were to get more on top of it, you'd, on average, struggle to get flight. We get very fortunate. Simon looks after Colin Montgomery, and we have this discussion all the time. Trying to hit down and cover the ball and still see flight, that's really difficult to see when your club speed is coming down as a golfer. You have good club speed and cover the ball, no problem.
Yeah.
But if you're down at 60, 70, 80 mile an hour with an iron and you try and cover it with a 5-iron, that thing's going to fall out the sky. So it's a great idea and people can do it with wedges, but if you start trying to cover the ball with long irons and you haven't got enough club speed to make that ball launch, you're going to fall upon deaf ears really, because you're going to really battle to get it. So be cautious when you're going down that route is what I would say. Anything to add on that?
Yeah, I totally agree.
From equipment side?
Equipment side, yeah, it was a race to the bottom in terms of loft, in terms of, once one brand did it, 6 irons back when we started playing 33, 32, 33 degrees. Some are now 24 and a half. Well, that would have been strong. That would have been almost 3.5 iron loft. So, of course the ball's going to go further, but it has no spin. So we are now seeing more kind of high launch models where loft's coming back up and the 6 iron's getting back towards 28 degrees, but that's still strong. And and the heads spin less, the balls spin less. So it's a case of, it's fine getting into those positions and if it creates a more efficient contact and strike, and if it's a better technique and a better delivery, great. But you might find that your clubs don't actually perform as well, that you start to get bunching at the top end of the irons and big gaps at the bottom. So there are consequences to it, but it's actually then a case of reining the lofts back and get more flight, and then you're making the most of that kind of covered, more efficient position. But yeah, equipment it's been literally a race to the bottom. Yeah,
absolutely. And you've got to think also, how you unload the golf club. If you're bowed wrist because you've been a long way from the inside and that opens up club faces and you try to square the face up, you've got all sorts of different dynamics going on that just covering the ball, whilst it sounds great, is again, if that's something you're trying to change, just be cautious with that, because it might actually unravel on you reasonably quickly if it's not sort of overviewed by a good coach. So go with caution. Now I've lost where I am. That was that one there. The Yorkshire Blade, we've done. Hi guys, great show. Oh no, sorry, I've just lost where I'm at here. Yes, okay, I'm back. Axel Nielsen, 4231. What driver shaft would you recommend for a 113? Simon loves these questions. 113, 116 mile an hour swing speed. Lick your finger, Simon, put it in the air. Aggressive transition. And my miss is a hook. Playing a GT3 at the moment with Tensei Blue extra stiff.
So there is, as Stuart quite rightly says, there is a bit of a, lick your finger, put it in the air and go, I don't know what the right shaft is. Ultimately, if you've got a kind of a strong transition, you load the shaft hard, then something, you can pick a shaft like a Ventus TR style because it's got a strong butt section. It's going to withstand the load in theory well. But the hook could be coming from any number of issues. It could be technique thing that the club has no chance of stopping. It could be that your current shaft is too light. It could be that the balance is actually too heavy and it gets stuck and you flip it. So there are lots of things that I can't be definite with it, but in principle, a stiffer profile through the kind of the mid-upper section is certainly going to help it feel a little bit more connected. But there are variables on balance point, on dead weight, on swing weight that are going to have an impact on getting this working consistently for you. So at your speed, the margins are that small that find somewhere to test them and dial it in and get it right, because you will save money long term, big time.
BB Babbins, 45. God, I have
some, Lord of the Rings, isn't it?
I have some nerve damage in one of my hands from an old injury, and steel shafts are particularly painful in misses from the vibrations. Can you recommend a graphite shaft I should try in my wedges?
I mean, in wedges, so there is. Now, you haven't said anything about what shaft you play on the iron, so that doesn't give me any steer at all. But there are some very good wedge-specific shafts. Aerotech Steel Fiber do a kind of what they call private reserve, a wedge-specific one. Acra do some wedge-specific ones at 190 and 115. and you do 130 in the TZ series as well. But if you can give me an idea on what shaft you play in your irons, I can give you a better shaft recommendation for wedges, but you might want to look at the grip type as well to take some vibration out as well.
If you're new to this, we do this every Monday night, 6 p.m. Simon takes all of the questions on club fitting and I do all of the coaching. James behind the camera there does all of the editing and all of the camera work. I mean, it's an easy job for Billy, isn't it?
Punning as well.
Yeah, he does those in the odd
Dad
jokes.
jokes.
Yeah, the odd jokes.
Two of them.
We are moving swiftly on. Richard Skinner, 50-50. Stuart, I had a driving lesson with my pro. He does driving lessons now with his driver. I was swinging 9 left and he got me swinging 3 right. Since this lesson, my driver play has been abysmal. Any advice on how to regain confidence with my driver? Yes. So, take your driver in your left hand. This is like when a plumber comes round, he bodges your plumbing, and then you got to go and call someone down the road to fix it. You would even consider sitting on the fence there.
Well, the bit that I immediately came to my head was fix face first, not path.
Yes.
Was an echo in my ear from previous weeks.
Absolutely. So to get your driving back, when you shift path with driver, what ends up happening is that the grip gets pushed further and further and further out to the right. So if you draw a line from the club head to the golf ball, you can see that the path line would be from the inside. Well, that's wonderful news. But we've now got the face looking at Simon. You've got not a lot of time to measure to get that club face back to straight. Now here's the problem. Because TrackMan doesn't measure the grip and he only measures the club head, you can't trace the importance of the grip. So here's what you do. You get yourself your driver and you take it in your lead hand and get yourself set up to the tee. Then what you want to do is take your trail hand and put it on the top of the club. Can you see I've got my thumb there on the top of the club? Lead hand on. The reason why the trail hand's on there is to keep the grip in the same spot. Now what you're going to do, so I've just pivoted the golf club, I've set the club, and I've now got it parallel to my toe line. Now what I want you to do is take your trail hand again and put it back in front of the grip and keep it there. And don't let the grip move towards the target, because that's what's happened in your golf swing. You've continually tried to move the path from the inside, which is open the face. So use the trail hand, don't allow the grip to move forwards and let the club swing. And what you're now going to start to feel is how that left arm can start to unload. So to show you that face on, that's what it looks like. And now the club can start to unload. And what it starts to make you feel is how this left shoulder and this left forearm starts to have a bit more external rotation and allow the club head to swing out. Because what you've done by trying to get yourself more from the inside, you've driven the grip up and out to the right, driven it up and out to the right. Can you now see how the grip is so far in front of the ball, you've got no chance of squaring the face up. So do that little lead hand drill. Once you've done that a few times and you've got a measurement of where that left hand is in relation to your leg, put your trail hand on and now get your trail hand to feel like it can unload the golf club. Once you've done that, then you can start to make a few through swings and you'll start to feel how your lead arm now starts to sit down more and that right arm starts to feel like it's across your chest. That was probably a bit more than I thought I was going to give, but there we go. Hopefully that gets you in the right place, Richard.
I sometimes hear people saying kind of slow things down to get everything synced up a bit more.
Yes,
is that anything you can fall to at all?
Well, the trouble with that is that slowing down your driver
that's true.
and then speeding it up, it's like you're better off trying to find it with speed rather than slowing it down and speeding. I mean, maybe with an iron, maybe an idea, but really you can always replace, if someone's battling with a feel like that, just give the player more time by putting the ball further and further forwards, because you're still going to pull it and let it swing. It's just where it swings, right? And if because it's been swinging so late, because that lead hand has got so far past the ball, because you've been trying to swing from the inside, yeah, you've lost all of your ability to unload the club head, because it's, and it's probably going an uncomfortable amount to the right. So let's go back to Reed Harfield. Reed Harfield. Evening, chaps. Evening. What are your thoughts on backswing speed? I feel I make better contact with a slow takeaway, but I need more distance. Should I work on a faster backswing? No, I'm all for slow backswing. If you're taking a heavy object, you've got the golf club head on the end of a light end. If you pull the grip away quickly, can you see how the head doesn't move? So therefore, when you take the club head away quickly, your hands are going to have to negotiate trying to balance up the two. Then when you think about what goes on at the top, there's some stability issues that are really going to throw you out. So I would definitely go slower. Bryson came out with, and it's great if you're a long driver, but the faster back, the faster down. Well, that's great if you're trying to find 1 out of 4 or 5 drives to find the fairway. But don't go there. Slower the better, and then feel how you can load it on the way down and then unload it. That's a video that's well worth doing, actually.
I always think we've all got a bit of a natural temper. Some players are just quicker than others. We've got a natural rhythm. And
absolutely.
As long as you're balanced.
Yeah. Trouble with this game, though, isn't it, that you open Pandora's box of technique, right? I mean, gee whiz. I mean, you open it, and before you know it, you're so deep you can't find a way out of the box. Don't go there. Daniel Winterbottom, hi gents. What is the balance point on a Modus 130? I sometimes struggle to feel the head swing around 94 miles an hour with a 7-iron.
So Modus 130 is more kind of mid-balance. So the 120, 105 are more kind of down the bottom end. And then the 130, 115 are a little bit more kind of mid-balance. The 130 does swing light-ish at that weight. So it's more kind of handle midsection stiff and then softer tip section. So yeah, definitely the weight position's higher up in the 130. Very
good, very good. Ivan 3221, can you run a test of the KBS C-Taper 130 versus the Nippon Modus Tour 130 X-Flex shaft?
Cruel beast.
Which will yield a higher ball flight? Neither. You've got to find another 10 mile an hour. Yeah. Got to find another 10 mile an hour while he goes off and works out in the gym for 5 minutes. He's going to enjoy that one. I was just going to look for a swing-based question. Jerry said, thank you, Stu. Should the left leg fully straighten at the moment impact? Yeah, if you can get it there. Absolutely, Jerry. Absolutely.
Is it Modus 130?
Modus 130. Modus 130. Got Barnabas asleep. He's gradually just moving himself around down here, falling asleep, and then waking up with his eyes. Bless him. He's had a difficult weekend. He's been doing a bit of agility. He's got his weaves sorted out. Go check out my Instagram. I post up his agility stuff. He's a lunatic. Loves it. Vying to be in crafts.
There was a funny video where I said if it was a dog of similar breed, where it was if I think that the polite phrase if not messing around was a dog.
Yes.
And this thing just went off like an absolute exocet.
There's a dog on social media that has got one of those 360 cams.
Oh right, yeah.
That holds in his mouth. He's a working cocker as well, and he runs down the beach. And he's holding it in his mouth, and you can just see his ears and his eyes lighting up as he's running. Just the excitement is crazy. They're a lunatic breed, that's for sure. So, right. Are you feeling strong for this?
No. Modus 130 first. So, in principle, in theory, the Modus should launch slightly higher.
Got it.
Based on how they bend, in theory. But this also won't swing as bloomin' hard work as the C-Taper. So, lots of data. Actually, the Modus 130 actually plays near a 125 in terms of actual grammage.
Grammage.
So, actually went better than I expected it to.
There you go.
So actually, I hit that quite well. I'm going to quit while I'm ahead with that one. 17 launch, 5-1 spin. I'm using a model from our Swiss friend Gianni Martinelli, the GMAR NRB Pro.
What does it stand for?
Single piece forging.
GMAR, what does it stand for?
Gianni Martinelli.
Oh.
Italian Swiss.
Would you like some pesto with that?
He's
Swiss.
Yeah, he's designs a lot of what he does forged components, Porsche, Boeing. Golf clubs is kind of the sideline thing that he does, but his major part of the business is in aerospace grade forging components.
Well, there you go. You learn something new every day. Just a mind of information, aren't you? Just a mind of information.
Some of it useful.
Some.
Let's get that onto there.
Some.
But only some.
GX Golf Clubs have got a Black Friday deal going on. Go check them out on their website, gxgolfgloves.com. They've got a cracking little golf bag, as have we. We've got the old Precision Golf bag as well. We've got Christmas vouchers.
We do, yeah.
Check out the Christmas vouchers.
Yeah, it's always a good time of year for that, obviously.
Gifts for that, you can find that on our website. Loads of bit of merch as well, bit of Precision Golf shirts,
polo shirts, caps, head covers. Yeah.
Head covers. If you want to support the channel.
Even got a nice little bit of tartan in the inside.
Wonky Woolies bobble hat. Yeah. Go check that out.
Yeah. So this straight away just feels heavy. I mean, it's a very tip stable. It just swings weight down the bottom of that.
Yeah, that's reasonable. Yeah. Good luck with that.
Thank you very much. So whereas the Modus, to the question earlier, doesn't swing that heavy, this one does. So let's see. So I've had to fetch that a bit more, and it's gone left. So that's going to take a bit of flight off. Let me give it one more. So 17 launch and 5-1 with the Modus. Let's see.
Did you add a little bit more open face at address there?
Even subconsciously, if I did. So for me, it does come out flatter, but I'm having to fetch it a bit more, so it's closing the face a bit more, so it's brought so some bits come down because of that. But in theory, the C taper should launch a little bit lower and spin a bit less as well.
Well done.
But
good job.
It's hard work.
Good job. Paul M2885. Hi guys, thanks for always answering questions. That's what we're here to do on a Monday night, Paul. You don't have to thank us, but thank you anyway. It is appreciated. Playing a 447 wood, which is great in calm weather, but goes backwards in the wind. Please help me find something with less spin.
5 wood. Ultimately that's the equation. Or something like actually Callaway, if you wanted the same loft, but just wanted the less spin, then possibly the Callaway, the U-wood. That one, it is quite low spin relative to loft, but ultimately you've got a 7 wood, it's 21 degrees, it's going to go high. So at relative to loft, you've got wood, hybrid, irons. So the other alternative would be to go into, certainly if you want less spin, G440, the 3 hybrid, the 20 degree lofted up one, that will spin less than the 7 wood. And so that would also be an option.
So we're just going to change it up a gear. We're going to slightly curtail the answers now because we've got 12 minutes. We've got a lot of questions and we want to keep taking them. Don't go not be you just
not monosyllabic.
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that. Let's see. I've got to find where I am now. So Simon Muggleton. Simon, thanks for your response earlier. You mentioned C taper is tip heavy or tip balance point heavy. Yep. If this is your iron of preference, would this follow on through the hybrids and woods?
Often does, yes. So more often than not, you'd see a similar balance point through the clubs, but it doesn't always happen. So sometimes when you go, you might need tip heavy in the irons. It takes you down to the ball. As the swing gets longer and the arc gets wider, actually something less tip heavy to collect it. I go the other way. I've got neutral in the irons, heavy tip in the driver. So it doesn't always, but it often does track a crew, yes.
Norwegian Warhound, great to have you in the house.
Happy Thanksgiving, because I know you're US based.
Yeah, based on what you guys see in lessons or fittings, would you say there is a need for more high launch iron heads? Do you think manufacturers will place more of an emphasis on this? Have a good one. Absolutely. Yeah. need more flight, more spin. Absolutely.
Yep, I completely agree. And the answer is yes, they are going to be doing more of them, yes.
Brilliant. That's great to hear. That's great to hear. Jerry 1151. Thank you, Stu. Should the left leg fully straighten at the moment? Impact, I answered that already. Yes, it should. Kevin Phillips, how would you compare tech in a Vokey pitching wedge versus a Srixon Z Forged 2 pitching wedge? Thank you.
Well, you don't have as much. You don't really have any tungsten in the sole of the T100. It was T100, wasn't it? So, but in principle, there's a little bit more weight down the bottom and bottom of the face. What Titleist's done this year, they've got the same grooves on the pitch wedge on the T100 as they do on the 46-degree Vokey. So you could argue the grooves are more designed for the partial swings with the T100 versus the ZX. Z-Forged, ZX7, ZXi7?
Yeah, yes.
But then the Z-Forged has the V-sole, so it might help turf interaction as well. Ultimately, both are going to be solid heads, but the Z-Forged would generally spin a little bit less than the T100.
Willie is being a bit sadistic and he wants you to build me a driver that you know is absolutely wrong for me and hit it. We will do that next week. We're running slightly out of time. Get that question in nice and early. We will do that next week for you. Kev T.
You've got 10 minutes, you can have a hit.
Go on then. He's going to take all of the loft off of it. He's going to give me a low lofted driver and just watch me nail it into the floor. He's a nasty man. Thanks for that, Willie. Appreciate that. Kev T says we have our annual 3 clubs and a putter next week. Oh, good question.
Ooh, I like where this
what
is
clubs
going.
would you choose?
So 3 clubs and a putter. I'd go. I'd probably go driver. This time of year, there's not a lot of run out. I'd go pitch wedge or gap wedge, and then like a 6 or 7 iron. That kind of, or it's 3-wood, 7 iron, gap wedge. That kind of ballpark.
I'd go driver, 5-iron, 9-iron putter. Because the 5-iron, you can D-loft, get it going quite a long way. 9-iron, you can sort of conjure up, can't you, that sort of 8-iron, 7-iron, and then you can use it around in bunkers and that kind of stuff, and then putter. Yeah. Good question, though. Like that. Like that. It's a really good question. So come on, what loft have you given me?
So I've got a 9-degree GT4.
Right. Tell us what the hallmarks of a GT4 is.
Low spin. Low launch, low spin.
And then what have we gone for in a what a horrible question this is. Request this
so
is.
the Grinch has come out for Christmas early. And I've gone for this. So Stuart plays one of the DMR on a blue boards in a 70. And so I've gone, which is fairly even balanced, and I've gone a VF graphite design 4. But it's tip balanced.
James even let out a little chuckle behind the camera there. I don't know what that's all about.
And I've gone heavyweight forward in the GT4 as well.
Oh, brilliant.
Right, yeah.
So what you're not expecting to see is that much flight on this.
Yes.
Right. Okay. Well, look, the coaching.
I mean, the only thing is, the only shame is that we kind of talked about it first, because now you're going to manipulate it.
Yeah.
So do one, just swing.
Okay. All right. I'll do one. I'll just do one. What got me out of all of that was his chuckle behind the camera. that was what got me. So I'm just going to make a normal swing on this. Oh, I can't believe how light that feels.
Now, the thing is, what you've done, though, is you've managed it really well. But look at that, 10.5 launch, 1,500 spin. That hasn't even carried 200 yards.
Oh, my God. Look, I'm going to do another normal swing.
And I didn't loft it down either. I was kind.
Did you not? That was really nice of you. Goodness me.
So for those that don't know, Stuart plays an 11-degree driver. Because of his natural flight profile.
This is so soft and horrid.
And the weight's down the bottom as well, whereas yours is evenly balanced.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. But it shows for someone who's very in control of their swing, you've hit a fade to try and see some flight, and it's still only about, well, it's barely 1,700 revs on spin.
Right, I'm going to get that up now.
But it also shows what's actually a really good example of what someone's got to do with their swing to see a ball flight, to make a club work. And actually, James's cousin in on Saturday, who he hasn't played a lot, and it's actually a really good lesson, actually, in that he got a cheap box set not quite bargain bucket, but a cheap boxer just to get playing. And the 3-wood in this thing, I've never seen heavier. It was standard length, it was E6.5.
Oh.
This thing was nearly 400 grams, and we're putting together a club at 335.
Oh my God.
You'd give up the game. And the problem is, and the biggest problem is, he just thought it was him not being able to hit a 3-wood.
Yeah.
The driver was D7.5 at standard length.
Oh God. All right, so I'm going to get this thing airborne now.
He's weakened his grip.
Yeah. Going to go one more. Where are we at the spin now? Look, 2.5, you see? That's perfect case.
Yes, you've now actually got a ball floating up, but you've had to open the face 8 degrees and hit up on it 6.
Hang on, one more. That shaft feels so bad.
Yeah, so given 4 or 5 goes, you've found a way of making it work.
And that was to your point, isn't it? When you're doing fitting, how quickly a golfer that can play can start to adapt.
We'll find a way.
Yeah.
And then actually you groove something, it takes a long time to get out of those habits.
Yeah. Thanks for that, Willie.
There was a serious lesson there anyway.
Pro V1 David, hi guys. Winter golf is here. Is it worth turning up a degree of driver fairway hybrid to change the ball and gain more distance?
You're not going to gain a lot. I mean, if you have a lower ball flight and rely on run out for your distance, then any help you can get for ball flight won't be a bad thing for carry distance, but it won't make a huge difference.
David Elder, want to add a 5-iron in my bag, ZXi5, playing ZXi7, 6 to pitching wedge, S400D4. We'll use the 5-iron as more of a tee club. Would you match the shaft and swing weight or go lighter and graphite?
For something like that, I would default to generally matching up because we're not looking for it to change the way it plays that much. If you go to something like graphite, you're making a massive change in spec, and it's like a different sport. So actually, we want to swing the same. For something like a 5-iron, it's not that long that we do sometimes in a 2-iron change shaft, but match up, and so that way you can maybe like half a point lighter on swing weight, but you can then know that how you swing a 6-iron, how you swing the 5-iron, there's continuity, consistency, and you'll hit it better.
Nelly and Albert, evening gents. Would love to see Simon hit the Vokey SM10 versus the TM-MG5 wedges. We will do that next week for you, promise.
We'll log a note of that.
Come back and we will do that. Michael Ocean, how cold is too cold for you to play golf? Like it's 4 degrees C in the UK now. It's really the ground conditions, isn't it? It changes. That's all it is.
Once it's frosted, screw
that. The chat below, 2678, 4 degrees C, I'll be sitting inside. Yeah, me too. Aim for the bushes. Hi, chaps. Swing weight question. My mate popped 4 grams of lead tape in my 5-wood, playing 7-wood length. Feels better. Yeah. But why is the club? But why is this to make it work better?
So essentially, it's 7-wood length is roughly ½ inch shorter than the 5-wood length, and if you just shorten it, essentially there's less momentum. So head weights, like within a set of irons, go up 6 or 7 grams per head, and it's sort of 4 or 5 on the fairway woods for that very reason that they're going to be built shorter. So the extra weight just gives you back that sensation of the club head and gets it swinging more naturally, times better. But it's the shorter length, just bringing the swing weight back up. Increasing head weight gives you a more relevant swing.
B. Babbins, 45. My irons are the Fuji Ventus Red 6R, looking for graphite shaft for wedges from nerve injury.
Got it. So if you're looking for something that's not too tip heavy, then it would be around the 80 gram mark. Then actually, something like Acura, the IS8, maybe in the iWedge 90 might be slightly heavy, but it's not going to swing too tip heavy.
Just one more.
And if you want head weight, then the 75 gram in the Private Reserve steel fibre weight shaft. Richard
Skinner, Stuart, love your driver tuition, top man, world class. You're very welcome. David, Simon, have you ever fitted wedges with 6 degree gaps, 52 to 58 to minimise too many options? Great show.
Absolutely, yeah. Ultimately, you're doing that. The player knows there's a bit more manipulation for distances between them, but if you're a good wedge player, it's not a problem at all.
Stephen, I'm thinking of making the lofts on my I240 irons stronger, flight and spin higher at the moment. Would like another 5 yards each club. How much stronger do I need to make the lofts?
2 degrees would be more than enough for that.
G. Douglas, I recently had a title. I recently had a title. It's A Titleist fitting, well done, well done, at my club, and ended up in the T100's Project X Rifle 6.5. What are your thoughts on the manufacturer fittings?
It's a heck of a lot better than not doing anything at all. Ultimately, it's not the manufacturer's fittings, it's the skill of the fitter on the day. Titleist have more options than most to work with, so they're generally pretty good. But if the fitter's good, you're going to get a pretty darn solid result. But the one thing you won't get from one of those is the level of detail on the build that we can go into because they're all built just there, rather than mass manufactured. But if the fitter's good, there'll be a good result. If they're not, it won't.
Bosh, it's just struck 7. We've done it. Excellent questions as usual, team. Thank you so much for dropping in. There was loads of you on this evening, so do hit the like button and maybe bring a friend next time you drop in on a Monday at 6 p.m. We're going to be here next week. You're here next week?
We're here next week. Are we here next week?
Daughter's birthday, no live next week. We'll be having a week off, but we'll be much closer to Christmas. We'll be here on the 15th. Probably Simon in some sort of Christmas jumper.
Yeah, I'll have to, because I don't think we'll be here on the 22nd.
Yeah, Christmas jumper.
Yes.
So stay tuned for that. I won't be, but I might be in a pair of shorts. Yeah. I'll sacrifice.
One little thought from the golf world this week. Fuzzy's early passed, so sad to hear. Major winner, Ryder Cup player. Yeah, loved low hands at address. And on that note, rest in peace, Fuzzy. Thank you all so much for your kind questions and lovely comments. We really are grateful. Thank you so much. We'll see you in a couple of weeks.